a smile. Hey there, and welcome to the Neuse Sports Show. My name is Daffy Duck. No, actually, it's Bryan Hanks, but my voice, I know I sound a little bit like a duck today. Man, I don't know what's going on. It may be because my Nationals won Junious Smith III, and I yelled all last night, but hey, it's a good thing, right?
I'm actually surprised. Like I could hear you all the way from my side of town.
There you go. Bryan Hanks, Junious Smith III. Every week here on the Neuse Sports Show, we bring you all the games that happened last week. We catch you up. We tell you what happened in those games. We have an interview this week. We have Ryan Gieselman again. A big game this week as Green Central comes into Kinston High School. We'll be talking about that. And then after that, me and JS3 over here, we come back and we tell you about all the games that are going to be played this Friday night. So, hey, let's just jump right into it, okay?
Well, we got to thank our sponsors first.
Oh, my gosh. How could we even be doing this show without sponsors?
Without question.
You hit it first.
All right, well, our first sponsor is Lenoir Community College, whose Quick Jobs program provides training so you can get to work in less than 6 months.
Absolutely. And because LCC partners with area employees or employers, you can not only find a job, you can also, Junious Smith III, find a new lifelong career.
Well, Bryan Hanks, jobs currently in demand include heating, ventilation and air conditioning, electrical wiring, energy distribution systems, manufacturing, truck driver training, and welding.
Tuition assistance may be available as well as nationally recognized credentials.
Bryan Hanks, it's a new year and a new you.
A new Bryan Hanks?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's awesome.
So let LCC empower you to get the job and career you've always hoped for.
Junie Smith III, to learn about quick jobs, do you want to know how?
How do you do it?
You call 252-527-6233, or correction, 527-6223, extension 714, or do you have the internet?
I do.
Very good. You will enroll at lenoircc.edu/quickjobs.
There you go. And also we have to thank KC Crop Insurance. They're here to serve all your crop insurance needs with over 50 years of combined experience. They take pride in excellent customer service.
They do. Give the KC Crop Insurance Service Team a call at 252-522-9613. Again, what's that number?
252-522-9613.
Okay. Did you write it down?
I got it.
Okay, very good. Tell them that Junious Smith III and Bryan Hanks sent you. And Neuse News.
Without question. And speaking of Neuse News, if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, you know what? We kind of clown people on a regular basis for not doing it, but
we're judging them.
Harshly.
Hey,
so,
how many stories do you have up on Neuse News today?
You know what? Only like one or two.
What?
It's been pretty much of a light week.
Slacker. Listen, 70% of the stories that are up on Neuse News are by this gentleman right here. So be sure to visit neusenews.com, and to find out every morning what's up on Neuse News, visit Neuse News and subscribe. And how do they do that?
All you have to do is go to neusenews.com, hit that little subscribe button, and bam, you're set.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into last week's games. And I got to tell you, it throws me off a little bit when I look through here. And, we can see Dr. Town, we can see Neuse. I see Laieke back there. Is that Laieke BB back there?
That is Laieke.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I don't even have my glasses on. How about that? And I can see him back there. That's awesome. Well, I hope they don't cut this out because it's cool. Laieke BB, we love him.
I think he's coming in too.
Oh, very good. Well, I tell you what, whilst he is coming in here, let's go ahead and tell you the scores from last week's game. Oh, my God, when you have a celebrity come in here, look, it's Laieke Abibi. Say hello, Laieke Abibi.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
We're doing good, man.
My friend.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Very good. Listen, I got the tingles now, okay? Very good to see him. Listen, here are the scores from last week's games. West Craven defeated Kinston 28-13. Green Central defeated South Lenoir 59-26. Parrott Academy beat Rocky Mount Faith 54-30. Halifax Academy defeated Bethel Academy 40-16. And Washington beat Aiden Grifton 37-12. And as we always do, we're going to take a couple of minutes and delve into each one of these games. And I tell you what, a disappointing result from Vanceboro. And you're going to get to hear Coach Ryan Gieselman here in a few minutes talk about it. But another big injury, and Kinston's ahead 13-7 at halftime. Unfortunately, they leave that game with a 28-13 loss, and they now fall to 1-2 in the Eastern Carolina 2A.
And again, it just shows the strength of this conference. The fact that Kinston is 1-2 they were projected to win the conference, and Wes Craven took it to him. What happened? Demetri Holmes, he got hurt. They're saying it was a foot injury, and he was not able to go in the second half, and everything just kind of turned for Wes Craven in that one.
I've covered high school football since 1992, and I am struggling to remember a season, Junious and Laieke, where we ought to get him a chair and get him to come join us over here. But I'm struggling to remember a season since 1992 where one player has made such a big difference in a football season. I know you're reaching a decade now that you've been covering high school football. Have you ever seen one player make as big a difference in the fortunes of a team when he gets injured?
When I think about it, I really can't, because Demetri Holmes has meant pretty much everything to Kinston this season. The running game hasn't been as strong as the school would like, and Demetri he's easily the best passer in the league.
Oh, absolutely. And what people felt, and everything you just said right there is true. He is also the quarterback on the defense. I mean, he plays that outside linebacker. He calls the plays on defense too. And, I mean, when you're not just missing your quarterback, who is arguably the best quarterback I've seen in Lenoir County since 2002, you're also missing essentially your quarterback on defense too. How big of a difference does that make?
I mean, not just from a talent standpoint, but also somebody that can read the offense and get everybody in the right position before the snap. Just not having that guy right there really hurts.
Well, I talked to Diesel yesterday over at Kinston High School. Again, you're going to see that interview here in a few minutes. And he is pretty much – he's not playing this week. They've pretty much decided there's no way. And he may be out for the rest of the season. There was so much swelling in his foot. They did x-rays and stuff. They think there's a break there. They're not 100% sure there's a break. And here's the bad thing, too. It's not just it's not the foot that he injured earlier. It's his other foot. So, I mean, not only is he still nursing his way back from and playing basically hurt on that, now he's got potentially a broken bone in his other foot and a very, very good chance he won't be back for the rest of the 2019 season.
That's definitely terrible to hear. Demetri, if you're watching, we give you nothing but the best, best well wishes, and get well soon.
Absolutely. Okay, the next game in our neck of the woods last week, and we should tell everybody North Lenoir was actually off last week.
Right.
They had a bye week because they played Washington the week before, lost that game, and they've had 2 weeks to stew over, losing that game. So I can tell you, man, I had a chance to go see Coach Jim Collins yesterday for my radio show, and I'm telling you, he is ready. I mean, the guys are ready up in Hawk Time, up in Wheat Swamp. And he is ready, and they've just been stewing over this loss. They hate what happened. They're going to be ready for West Craven. We'll talk about that in a moment, but that's the reason why we're not giving you a North Lenoir score from last week. Green Central and South Lenoir, a 24-18 game at halftime. South Lenoir's kind of hanging with them. And then, if I remember correctly, something like 3 touchdowns in a 6-play span just blew the game out, and the Rams end up winning that game 59-26.
Right, I was at that game, and South Lenoir's Joseph Cobb definitely impressed me. He had 3 rushing touchdowns. That's how South Lenoir was able to hang in there. But as far as Green Central, they've got a weapon by the name of Jaden Tyson. His second full game of varsity, and he came out there, had, I want to say, 143 yards, rushing 4 touchdowns. He was magnificent.
It blows my mind. Where is Jay Wilson finding these players? And I know he's got a whole county to pull them from, but Knowledge Branch, the preseason player of the year in Eastern Carolina 2A. Then his backup, and I apologize, I don't remember his name, but he got injured. He was injured too, and he actually had a couple of good games or a game and a half before he got hurt. And now we have this other young man you're talking about.
Yeah, no, he's had some other guys that came back. I think it was Hezekiah Pagan that you were talking about.
Yes.
He's back. Murray's back. Okay. So they were able to get some carries in that game against South Lenoir, but Jaden Tyson is definitely taking over. And he showed a lot, not just against South Lenoir, but also North Pitt a couple of weeks ago.
What are his measurements? What year? What grade is he in and all that?
He's a sophomore. And
wow.
He's pretty small. He's about 5'6", but he runs the ball hard and he's fast.
Okay, very much looking forward to getting to see him. Actually, I'll be seeing him in a couple of days. Looking forward to seeing that.
All right.
Let's look at it from the South Lenoir point of view, Junious. And 2-5 now. They've now lost all 3 games in the Eastern Carolina 2A, and even Coach Jeremy Joyner told me last week that was a must-win. Going to Snow Hill,
right.
They had that game circled. They thought that was definitely a game they had a chance, and they proved it in the first half. I mean, down 24-18 at halftime. What got away from them there in that second half for South Lenoir? And playoffs, they're really looking tough for the boys in blue, aren't they?
Without question. I think it was just Green Central's balance and everything. And it was just really tough. South Illinois just could not continue that momentum, and Green Central's defense was also able to kind of shut them down.
Playoffs, I mean, they've got to win out now to make it to the playoffs, don't they?
Without question. It's definitely not going to be easy.
Absolutely. Okay, our next game that was in our neck of the woods, in fact, it was the only game that was played in Lenoir County last week, was Arundel Parrott Academy. They played Rocky Mount Faith, and you and I talked about this last week. And we even had Coach Matt Beeman here on the show, too, and he made a point of saying, we're remembering last year. We're remembering giving up 119 points to them in the last 2 games of our season.
Yeah.
We're remembering giving up 72 in the state semifinals. We've got something for them, and doggone if he wasn't right. 47-14 at halftime, and they just rolled to that victory.
And the scary part about it, Parrott has been a smash mouth team all season, and then all of a sudden you have Wilkes Thomas, the freshman, throws for 402 yards, and you know what? I'll go ahead and spoil it. He is the athlete of the week. So.
Breaking news right here on the Neuse Sports Show. But a freshman, let's make a point about that.
Yeah.
The first freshman to start at quarterback for Arundel Parrott Academy since?
Brick Crowder.
Brick Crowder, the head football coach at Bethel Christian Academy now. And just, again, amazing. I mean, we went into that game and we were as sucked in as Rocky Mount Faith was, okay? That, listen, this is going to be a smash mouth game. It's going to be a quick game. We're going to hand it off to Trey McClawhorn, who was your athlete of the week before. I think he touched the ball a total of 12 times or something like that. He still had his, 50, 60 yards. I think he called a touchdown. He rushed for a touchdown, but it was all Wilkes Thomas and all Nick Harrison.
And you know what? Harrison, 8 catches, 279 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, he had a tremendous game. I think this is his first year playing varsity because he's a sharpshooter on the basketball court, but he stepped up and played receiver very well.
Well, one of the neat things, I was talking to Matt Beeman yesterday, and one of the neat things he told me was Nick now realizes there's another sport called football. So he's very excited about that. The other 2 games, let's just quick hit these. We're going to quick hit these. Give me about 15 seconds apiece. Halifax Academy 40, Bethel 16.
That was one where I found out that they were still missing some starters from what happened against Wayne Christian. But I was at Bethel Christian Monday. Everybody's back.
Very good. Washington 37, Aiden Grifton 12.
You know what? Aiden Grifton has lost a few important starters, including Michael Webb, and Washington is definitely rolling. Washington is, you know what? It's time to quit sleeping on Washington.
It is, and I mean those are the 2. Washington, West Craven, the 2 best teams it looks like in the Eastern Carolina 2A. Okay, I had a chance to talk to Kinston head football coach Ryan Gieselman yesterday out at Viking Stadium on the campus of Kinston High School. Here's that interview. Welcome back to the Neuse Sports Show. Brian Hanks here with head football coach of Kinston High School, Ryan Gieselman. His Vikings in a couple of days will be taking on Green Central in homecoming here at Viking Stadium. First, Coach, thank you for joining us, and it's too pretty a day not to come out here and do it out here.
Yes, sir. Very excited about being out here with you.
Very good, very good. Listen, a big game, Coach. Well, first let's look back at last week's game. West Craven, a loss that you guys had, but you were ahead at halftime and another key injury. And it seems like this is now the second time we've talked about it this year with Dimitri Holmes going down. Just set that up for us, and what happened there, Coach?
He was making a play with his feet, and then when he stepped up to make a pass, one of the defenders from West Craven stepped on the top of his other foot, and right now it's diagnosed as a foot fracture. He goes to the specialist tomorrow, and so we'll find out definitely what it is. And like I said, it's tough. It's tough for him. He's definitely down on himself right now, but. It's one of those things he's got to deal with. It's part of playing football, but it's going to make him, better in the long run.
It's a lot of times people think football, there's 11 guys out there on the field, but I tell you what, when you have a player with the skill level and just the talent that and the leadership that Dimitri Holmes has, losing that one key player does make a big difference, doesn't it?
You definitely can. You definitely see. Any game that he's played for us, you can say that the wind's in our sails, and we're smooth sailing. And when he's been hurt in the 2 games he's gotten hurt, you can see the wind taken right out of our sails, and it's definitely a tough blow to our team offensively. He is a key part on defense as well in some of those situations, but offensively, when he's gone out, we've seemed to struggle a whole lot.
Caleb Gooding will be his replacement, tentatively, I guess, at quarterback. And you've had an opportunity to see him this year. What does he bring to the field for the Vikings?
You know, I mean, he's not as a dynamic as a passer, but he can throw the football. He's definitely a run threat, and he has proven that he can lead this team and take us to victory.
A couple of days, Green Central comes in here, and everybody knows head coach Jay Wilson. A lot of people in Lenoir County know him. What does he bring as a head coach? I mean, he's been a long-time assistant in Eastern North Carolina at several stops, but what is he like as a head coach?
I could see him as a big-time motivator, a grinder in the weight room. And I know he made the statement early in the year that his team was going to be the strongest team in the conference, and you know, I believe that. Like I said, you look at all of his stuff; he's definitely a grinder, and you know, he's a guy that's going to have fun with his team, and he's definitely a player's coach. I could see that.
Very good. Again, they had a situation a lot like yours. They lost Knowledge Branch early this year, who you coaches picked as the preseason offensive player of the year in the Eastern Carolina 2A. And in fact, I think even his backup, Knowledge Branch's backup, is out for the season too. That's one of those things that you and he can just meet at the 50-yard line Friday night and say, we got a lot in common.
It's going to be the war of attrition. Like I said, I mean, both teams have lost valuable players, but, you know, our season must go on, and, you know, both teams are going to be prepared and ready to go. It's homecoming here. You know, it's a rivalry that's developed in the last few years, so Green Central's going to be ready to play, so it's going to be a physical contest.
How much does, and I'm glad you brought that up about homecoming, which it's going to be here at Kinston High School. What type of different dynamic does that bring to how you're getting ready for a game, you and your assistant coaches?
You know, there are a lot of distractions during the week, but we've been able to tolerate them, and but it's fun for the guys. Like we tell our seniors, it's their last homecoming. The atmosphere is going to be very, very special with a lot of alums coming back, class reunions and whatnot, and former players coming back just to come see the homecoming game. And with it being green, I think there's going to be some extra excitement as well.
4-4 overall, 1-2 in the Eastern Carolina 2A. Coach, not to put any extra pressure on you for this week's game, but how much of a must-win is this week's game?
It's like we told our guys starting off on Monday. It's playoff mentality from here on out. It's a sense of urgency. We got to get after it. We ask them what happens when you lose in the playoffs. You know, you go home. So you know, we don't necessarily want that to happen to us. So we're going to have to play with a playoff mentality.
Well, very good. Well, Coach Ryan Gieselman, head football coach here at Kinston High School. What are the keys to victory for your Vikings on Friday night?
I think the most physical team is going to have the most success. We have to value the football on offense, and they're a dynamic team on offense, and we got to be ready to stop the run, but also as well to stop those long receivers on the edge.
Very good. Well, Coach Gieselman, thank you so much for joining us here on the Neuse Sports Show. Good luck in Friday night's game, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Neuse Sports Show. And Junious, why are you sitting so close to me?
Well, we just happen to have another person in frame, so.
Very good. Welcome to the show. I think he was on our first. You were on our first show of the year, weren't you?
I think it was a couple shows.
It might have been the second.
Yeah,
it might have been the second one. There you go. Laieke Abibi here with Neuse News and. Goodness gracious, WJG and Just Like Brothers podcast. And
actually, that's exactly where I just came from.
Really?
We just
12,000 followers on Twitter, and he's verified. Dude, you do know, hey, we're sitting beside somebody who's verified on Twitter.
I'm not that famous, guys. But seriously, guys, thank you for having me on, of course.
Make sure he puts an autograph on here for me before he leaves, okay?
I got you.
Okay, very good, very good. But we're back. Bryan Hanks, Junior Smith III, Laieke Abibi. You just had a chance to listen to Ryan Gieselman of Kinston High School. His Vikings will be taking on Green Central High School in their homecoming this week over at Kinston High. Let's look at some statistical stuff, and then we'll jump into it. Green Central is 4-3 overall. They're 1-1 in the Eastern Carolina 2A. Kinston is 4-4 overall. They're 1-2 in the league. Since 2005, the teams have played each other every season, and they've played each other 16 times in that time. And I know I'm sitting there watching you go, wait a minute, that doesn't add up. It does, because they played each other in the playoffs twice.
Right, that's true.
And 2016 and 2017. Last year, Kinston won 26-24 in Snow Hill in that hurricane-delayed game on November 9th. We have a first-year head coach in Jay Wilson. I think all three of us agree we love us some Jay Wilson. I mean, he is a heck of a guy.
Agree with that.
Diesel is 6-2 all-time versus Green Central in his head coaching career. Now, here's a stat that I thought was kind of cool, guys. I think y'all like. If Kinston loses, they would fall to 4-5. Do you know the last time Kinston was under 500 9 games into a season?
I'm going to guess 2008.
You're not far off. You want to guess?
07?
07 it is. They were 2-7 that year under former coach Tony Edwards. That was the year before Battle Holly came in. But listen, Kinston trying to do their best not to fall under 500 for the first time in 12 years. What do they have to do well? And we'll start with you, Junious, to not have that happen.
They have got to establish themselves on both sides of the ball. They have to be physical. They definitely have to get the running game going because, like you said, Demetri Holmes is possibly going to be out for the season. They have to establish a running game.
Absolutely. Laieke?
I feel like offensively they're going to have to find a way to respond without Holmes. I think this week could be a good opponent for that. And see if they can respond against the Green Central team that's picking up some momentum after a big win last week in South Lenore. So that's my key for them, I would say.
And I know you're not as old as Junious now. You're definitely not as old as me, and you're not as old as Junious here. But have you ever seen a season in the time that you even played sports and even the time that you've been covering when one player has made that big of a difference on a football team?
Man, it's tough to think. I can't really think of one off the top of my head. I mean, Demetri Holmes is that important to the Kinston Vikings, and of course, hope he gets better. Of course,
yes.
But yeah, he's an impact player for that team. When he's played, he's been lights out for them.
Absolutely. Keys to victory from both of you. We'll start with you, Laieke, for Green Central.
Green Central's got to play maybe their best defensive game of the year. They've played good defense throughout the year. It's just that they've got to try and hold Kinston, I would say, under 24 points, I would say. Would give them a chance. And offensively, they've got to get – Cole Dawson's got to get going. The quarterback for the Rams, he had a great game last week. Same with Jaden Tyson, of course. And see if they can establish the run and play complementary football, I would say.
Definitely. I mean, Green Central and Kinston, they're two teams that actually they can run the ball. They play a nice spread offense. So it's one of those things that Green Central, they have to kind of mix it up and just do whatever they can. I mean, like you said, Cole Dawson has to play a big role. Zach Smith,
Absolutely.
Perry Tingen is coming into his own.
Absolutely.
As far as the receivers, and if Jaden Tyson can continue the streak he's on, I think they'll be all right.
Absolutely.
I love this rivalry that's existing, or that really started in football. I mean, even before basketball, but it started in football 6-7 years ago. Now, they've played each other, like I said, every year since 2005, but Kinston really dominated it. Green Central's got a couple of wins in it, and then when you combine with what they're doing in football or in basketball, it's becoming quite the rivalry, isn't it?
Definitely. I'll never forget. I was on Twitter just kind of going through the history. I think this is 2017 when they played each other in the playoffs, and I was just kind of going through the history and showing that Kinston had dominated the series. And let's just say a lot of the football players and the team kind of took offense to it, and they smacked Kinston in the mouth that night, 28-6.
And listen, as big a game as that's going to be, gentlemen, arguably the biggest game in the county this week is going to be over in Wheat Swamp. West Craven is 5-2 overall. They're 3-0 in the Eastern Carolina 2A. They travel to Wheat Swamp to take on North Lenore, who, like we said before that interview that you just watched, they've been stewing over there, guys. They're a little teed off. That's about the nicest way that I can say it. They are ready. They're chomping at the bit. They're ready for West Craven. North Lenore is 6-1 overall. They're 1-1 in the Eastern Carolina 2A. North Lenore is 5-21 all time against West Craven. That series began in 1979. It went nonstop until 2000. They played each other in 05 and 06, and then they played each other the past two seasons, and that includes 4-18 in league play. The Hawks have lost 7 straight times to West Craven, including losing 54-14 to the Eagles last year in Vanceboro. The last time. I love giving you guys trivia, especially you young pups. I love giving you trivia. And don't be looking at my screen.
I looked at it.
You already did?
Yeah.
So I got to ask Laieke then. When's the last time North Lenore beat West Craven?
Was it, I don't know, 2012?
No, sir, 1997.
Oh, wow.
September 26, 1997.
Wow, I was off on that one.
There you go. And it was a 3-0 win. North Lenore defeated West Craven 3-0 on September 26, 1997.
They had field goals back then?
Yeah, we even had goalposts and everything.
Like,
Yeah. What year were you born, Laieke?
96.
88.
Wow. Okay, just young. Travis, we got young pups in here, man. Okay. Anyway, so like I said, North Lenore's been off the past 2 weeks, but the Eagles have won 3 straight games since losing 26-0 to Havelock on September 20th, and I understand This game's going to be broadcast by Graham Hill and Parker Mitchell
Right.
on this new Snooze Facebook feed. So be sure to tune in for that. You can watch live play-by-play of that game from our good friends Graham and Parker. What are you anticipating? We'll start with Laieke this time. What are you anticipating from this West Craven North Lenore game?
I know the Hawks are chomping at the bit to get back out there. This bye week, I think, certainly helps after taking a loss like that to Washington. It's just like a point of refocus for them, I would say. But it's a tough opponent to come back to because the Eagles are good. They're a really good football team. They tend to fly under the radar, and then they
Pun intended.
exactly. So there you go.
Wait. I gotta tell Travis. Because, Travis, West Craven are the Eagles, okay? So he said fly under the radar. And okay. Sorry. Like
no, it's okay. But yeah, West Craven's a really good football team. They're trying to win a conference championship. It's going to be a big game for them. They certainly need this one. And, of course, North Lenore needs a game where they can bounce back. If they can play a time possession game, try and keep the ball out of the West Craven offense, try to keep it away from them, I think they'll have a good shot at it.
All three of us have gotten to know Jim Collins really well over the last season and a half, and I can tell you I respect the man ridiculously high. I think so much of him. How ready is he going to have those boys Friday night against West Craven?
They're definitely going to be ready, and I have the feeling this is going to be a defensive struggle. If this game is going to be competitive, North Lenore, like I said, has to control the time of possession, and their offense is built for that. So as long as they can continue to move the chains, get those first downs,
absolutely,
then the defense can take a little more of a breather and be able to try to stop that explosive West Craven offense.
Yep.
Absolutely. Two teams absolutely in need of a conference victory are going to be facing off in Deep Run Friday night. Ayden-Grifton is 4-2 overall. They're 0-2 in the Eastern Carolina 2A. South Lenore is 2-5 overall. They're 0-3 in the league, guys. All time, South Lenore is 2-12 against Ayden-Grifton. All those games have been league matchups, though, because they played each other in Eastern Plains 2A from 85 to 88 and then 97 to 2000, and then in the Eastern Carolina from 2013 to now. Ayden-Grifton won the 2018 season finale between these two teams last year, 42-0. In Deep Run, they've also won the last 9 games between the teams. It's trivia time. You ready? Did you already look at my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, Laieke, this question's for you again then, okay? When was the last time South Lenore defeated Ayden-Grifton?
05.
Very good. No, you're way off.
off?
You're way off. No, you're way off. Halloween, 1997.
Jeez,
So
that's
also
my goodness.
another
Off again.
1997. South Lenore defeated them 21-14 under former coach Gerald Wisenhunt. And you're a Wayne County guy, aren't you?
Well, Kai
Sort of.
is, but
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't really know Wayne County like that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
South Lenore had a coach named Gerald Wisenhunt that came there for a couple of years. He led Goldsboro to a state championship in the 80s. So they had hired him from there. But
a good
it's been since
factor.
Halloween 1997 that South Lenore defeated Ayden-Grifton. But that's going to be an awfully tough game. We'll start with you, Junious. That's going to be an awfully tough game for the Blue Devils to pull off Friday night, isn't it?
Without question, I will say this: there are two things. I'm not sure exactly how healthy Ayden-Grifton is going to be, for one, and then for two, South Lenore, even though they are 2-5, they're 0-4 on the road. They're 2-1 at home, so possibly that could kind of help them out a little bit. But like you said, it is going to be tough.
It is.
I would say Aiden's pretty much chomping at the bit at this one because they, of course, I saw you guys mention the injuries that they had against Washington. Yeah. I believe it's a concussion for Michael Webb and Vito Boyd among the other injuries. They should be back, hopefully. If they're back, I think it'll help them a lot. But the one thing they have to do is cut their turnovers down. They had 5 turnovers against Washington. It was a rough night for them that night. So this could be a get-right game for them, I would
Very
say.
good. Well, South Lenore also struggling with a lot of injuries, and the bad thing, well, for both these teams, either one of them have a lot of numbers this year that came out.
Right.
And when a South Lenore player goes out, that means you're losing essentially 2 players.
Like it's
because
both,
because you're losing them on defense and on offense. 2 games left. Let's quick hit these. Fayetteville Christian is 2-4 overall. They're at Parrott Academy, who is 5-2. This is only the 4th matchup between these teams, and it's the first one since 2006 when Fayetteville Christian was an 8-man team. If Fayetteville Christian has been playing 11-man since then, they decided to go back to 8-man this year, and they've struggled in their time back. Here is the big interesting thing, though. Even with all the state championship appearances that Parrott Academy has had, they won 2, they played for 4 in a row. they haven't won a conference title since 2005.
Wow.
They have a chance
Really?
to do that. Absolutely.
I didn't even know that. That's insane.
Coach Beeman dropped that one on me Friday, or when I visited him a couple of days ago. So that's what they're going for tomorrow when they play, or Friday when they play Fayetteville Christian.
I'm not gonna lie, it actually makes a little sense because you had St. David's in that conference,
Good
and
point.
you had
Good point.
Rocky Mount Academy.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that does make some
Faith
sense.
Christian.
But I feel like Parrott, they're gonna be ready for this one.
Very good. And then our last game of the week is Bethel, who is 3-3. And I got to tell you, you and I have talked about it a couple times. We've really not had your voice in on this, Laieke, but gosh, I don't remember a team or a program going through what Bethel has gone through this year. To start out 3-0 and just be dominating everybody they play. They have the fight situation up in Goldsboro, and then the season has really taken a dip. They have a chance to improve that, though, at Pungo Friday night. Either one of you.
I think that's a game where they can get right and put some points on the board. Pungo's kind of struggled a little bit with numbers this year themselves. I know they did pick up a win last week against Wilson Community Christian, but I think this could be a game for Bethel to get back on track and march towards the playoffs and have a shot to maybe pull an upset.
And like I said, everybody is back now for Bethel Christian.
Yes, so that's definitely a good thing.
Oh, absolutely. And the neat thing for Bethel, too, is if they win the game, and we're anticipating they're going to win that game. Pungo's not that good. They beat them 64-0 the first game of the year this year.
Right.
Bethel did over Pungo. Saturday morning, a big drawing in Wilson to determine, because you've got Bethel, you've got Halifax, you've got Northeast, that are going to be a three-way tie for first place, and they're going to draw out to see who's going to be the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed, and the number 3 seed.
And that's because Bethel beat Northeast/Hobgood, and Northeast/Hobgood, I believe, beat Halifax.
Yes, they did.
Yep.
And then Halifax beat Bethel. So yeah.
Okay, real quick, let's hit our picks here, and I've got to brag. I'm 28-10 so far this season. I went 3-2 last week. My good friend Junious Smith III went 2-3 last week. He's now 25-13. He's 3 games behind me. But in the interest of full disclosure, we didn't give the standings last week when we did the show because I just didn't have that part ready. Junious went 6-0 2 weeks ago, and I only went 4-2. So
there you go, Junious.
got to give you your love for going 6-0. So let's quick hit these predictions real quick. Green Central at Kinston. I'm taking Kinston.
I'm actually going to, just to be a jerk, I'm going to go with Green Central.
Very good.
And I'm with Junious. I'm taking the Rams as well.
Wow.
Rams
Wilson.
close.
In Jay we trust, right?
Yeah.
There you go. West Craven at North Lenoir. I'm going to go. I think it's going to be a good game. And, again, listen, I took North Lenoir at Washington a couple weeks ago, and that was one of my 2 losses. I just think West Craven's going to be too much for North Lenoir, even though I see it being like a 14-13 kind of game. But I'm taking West Craven.
I have to agree. It's one of those things that West Craven, North Lenoir has to play basically a perfect game to keep West Craven in check.
I definitely agree with that. Hopefully Parker and Graham are not listening when I say West Craven. So, yeah.
Homers. They're homers. Aiden Grifton at South Lenoir. Another game with both teams struggling with so many injuries. I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. But I'm taking Aiden Grifton.
Same here. I think South Lenoir hasn't gotten within 22 points to Aiden Grifton in the past 6 matchups, but I feel, like you said, it's going to be a little closer than people expect.
And I'll take the Chargers as well. They need to get their rhythm back, and I think this game could help them.
Very good. The last 2 games, I think they're both going to be blowouts, and I have a feeling we're all going to agree. I think Parrott's going to blow out Fayetteville Christian, and I think Bethel's going to maybe put an 80 spot on Pungo Friday night. What do you think?
You know what? I completely agree with Bethel. I feel like the game with Fayetteville Christian might be a little closer.
Okay.
What I'm going to say is probably going to be a little closer early because Fayetteville Christian has been able to hang with a few teams, including St. David's, but Parrott should be able to roll.
I definitely agree with both of those takes.
Very good. Okay. Listen, we want to thank our sponsors one last time. Thank you so much to KC Crop Insurance. They are here to serve all your crop insurance needs. With more than 50 years of combined experience, they take pride in excellent customer service.
So go ahead and give the KC Crop Insurance Service Team a call at 252-522-9613.
What's that number?
252-522-9613. And tell them Neuse sent you.
Lenoir Community College's Quick Jobs Program provides training, young men. So if you need a new job, you can get to work in less than 6 months.
And from what I heard, because LCC partners with area employers, you can not only find a job, but a new lifelong career.
Jobs currently in demand include heating, ventilation and air conditioning, electrical wiring, energy distribution systems, manufacturing, truck driver training, and welding.
Do you need some coins? Are your pockets a little shallow? Then tuition assistance may be available, as well as nationally recognized credentials.
Listen, Bryan, Laieke, it's a new year and a new you. Even though there's only a couple more months left in this year. But still, let LCC empower you to get the job and career you've always hoped for.
So to learn about Quick Drops, call 252-527-6233, extension 714, or enroll at lenorecc.edu/quickdrops.
We want to thank Dr. Travis Town. Put you up there on the screen, Dr. Town. And
There he is.
Najee Cobb, the North Lenoir class of 2011. You thought I forgot, didn't you, Najee? There you go. Thank you guys for making us look so good, or making them two look good. I
Whatever,
know
man.
I look kind of fat this week. Dr. Town, I thought you were going to do something about that. There you go.
Wow.
Wow, that was kind of cruel. Want to thank BJ Murphy, Aletha Thrower, Brandon Potter. Don't forget, Friday night, use hashtag Neuse Scores, and you'll be able to keep up with all the scores from all the games that are going on in our area. Again, thank you so much for watching the Neuse Sports Show. We'll see you next Wednesday here on Facebook Live.